Music, it's an art to combine, to make and organize sounds. It's a lifestyle. It's the representation of the things that occur day by day. Stories never told to the beat of the music. A whole world saved by the rhythm and notes. All the feelings expressed on it. Just a beautiful, a magnificent art.
It's beautiful!
Music started thanks to the human voice, where with some vocal notes or rhythms, the ancient persons did sounds but different as the others. This kind of sounds has a beat. But we have not the exactly location of where is the origin of this kind of art. Then were created a lot of ideologies where the feelings and thoughts were different, so each one of these made different the concept of reality.
Now, reality can be whatever I want.
Let's talk about the music of the 19th century. We see that the only two concepts or ideologies stood out were the Romanticism and the Classicism. Romanticism is a cultural movement that originated in Germany and the United Kingdom at the end of the 18th century as a revolutionary reaction against the Enlightenment and Neoclassicism, giving priority to feelings. It's considered as the first cultural movement that covered the entire map of Europe. In most areas it was at its peak in the approximate period from 1800 to 1850. 19th century first was the period when musicians tried to make their instruments sing. Romantic music is characterized by memorable melodies, greatly expressive harmony, and wide long forms. As public concerts became a part of city life, the symphony became the most important genre of orchestral music. Some of the artists that practiced this kind of music were Chopin, Liszt, Schubert, Schumann, Mendelssohn, Berlioz, Wagner, Paganini. Some of the Romanticism songs were Estudios de Chopin, Sinfonías de Bruckner, Novena Sinfonía de Schubert, Sinfonía Fantástica de Berlioz. Now let's talk about the Classicism. Well, this term, this word, designates the style of artistic and literary works inspired by the Greco-Roman antiquity and, by extension, academic or traditional art, fundamentally opposed to Romantic aesthetics. In music, Classicism is characterized by the clarity of textures, the symmetry of phrases, the consolidation of full tonality, and the establishment of classical musical forms. A fair expressiveness was also shown through music. This they could compose with emotions in mind, avoiding exaggerations and overload melody. And some of the artists or musicians that practiced these were Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Johann Sebastian Bach, Ludwig van Beethoven, Johannes Brahms, Schubert, Vivaldi. And some of the titles or name of these examples of music were or are Claro de Luna, Sonata para piano número 14 de Beethoven, El Mesías of Handel, Pequeña Serenata Nocturna, Mozart, para Elisa, Beethoven. Well, for the part of the 19th century was all, so let's do a time travel and come with me to the 20th century. Okay, wait a minute. No, this 20th century, the other 20th century with my friend and classmate Jose Francisco Burgueta Bendaño. I'll see you. Bye bye. Thank you, Cory. As said before, I'm Paco, and well, as part of our presentation, I would like to talk about the music born and or played during the well-known 20th century. A century marked by many important events such as two world wars, the Cold War, the Vietnam War, the crisis of the nuclear missiles in Cuba, the space race. Wow, that was a lot of wars, wouldn't you think? Well, that actually was a key factor on the music of the 20th century. Modern music was born in the beginning of the 20th century and was influenced by many modern factors, including all the war periods the world was going through. One could say that the adjective modern comes from the series of movements called modernism, based on the concept of all fundamental social and technological changes, and how art should be adapted and developed according to this. Having a progressive spirit of the late 19th century and his attachment to all technological advances, such as communication with the radio and TV, in transport with the automobile, planes, and spacecrafts, information with our Lord and Savior, the internet, between many others. All change how art, therefore music, was perceived. In this way, the main characteristic became the variety of ideas, positions, with music especially made to the people, for the people, something universally understood and that anyone could represent themselves with. This through the expansion or abandonment of the tonalities of music and the use of different and innovative techniques, sounds, and styles, etc. There's actually a pretty good example of this century's values on a popular American genre. That's right, we're talking about rock and roll! Rock and roll was born around 1950s in the United States, and it was based heavily in African American music, also known as black music such as gospel, jump blues, jazz, boogie woogie, rhythm, and blues. However, during those times, this style music was only reserved for colored people, thanks to the racial social ideals, or at least it was. This all changed in 1954 with the formal introduction of rock, with the main image of a young white singer, the King Elvis Presley. And the reason why Elvis' new rock succeeded was because it maintained the African American essence, or in other words, he sounded like a black man. Rock and roll's main reason for success came because of the iconic, strong, and unique sound and rhythm, and the messages of the songs that describe events and conflicts that most listeners could relate to, such as cars, schools, clothing, and dating issues. They actually talk a lot of taboo topics, implicitly prohibited topics in society, such as sexual-related lyrics. As a matter of fact, the term rock and roll actually refers to a euphemism root used by black people to refer to the, sexual intercourse. Yes, ouch. Rock and roll influenced lifestyles, fashion, attitudes, and language, especially in things like me.
even contributing to the civil rights movements for both African American and white Americans. But it was around the 60s when rock had an international impact, especially in England where many iconic bands were formed. But besides The King, there were many other memorable bands and artists that played this style of music. Some examples being Queen, with Bohemian Rhapsody, Don't Stop Me Now, Under Pressure, between many others. AC/DC, also known as Iron Man's main soundtrack, with Thunderstruck, Highway to Hell, and Back in Black. Guns N' Roses with Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and November Rain. Yeah, I don't really know that song, but I know it's popular. Rolling Stones with Painted Black, Sympathy for the Devil, and Can't You Hear Me Knocking? However, there were many other great singers, or well, artists, like Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Kiss, Pink Floyd, Bon Jovi, Black Sabbath, Nirvana, and many others. Now, rock and roll wasn't the only iconic music played during the 20th century. There were many other music genres that made an impact and were as popular in these times, such as pop music. Pop music is a genre of popular music with different styles in order to appeal to a wide audience, or in other words, commercially oriented to the mass popularity, with themes of love and dancing. It originated during mid-1950s in the United States and the United Kingdom. However, during those times, in the 1950s and 1960s, pop music was a part of rock and roll and youth-oriented styles. In fact, the appeal for teen interest led to the creation of boy bands, a musical group conformed by young, handsome, and talented artists, usually around their 20s, such as the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, New Kid on the Blocks, between many others. And it remained like that until late 1960s, after which pop became associated with music that was more commercial, ephemeral, and accessible. But just like with rock and roll, pop also had a king, and his name was Michael Joseph Jackson. And he was one of the most popular and important culture figures in the 20th century. This was thanks to his innovative music and spectacles, especially thanks to his movements such as the moonwalk. When the performer glides back and his body movement indicates he's moving forward, he made songs such as Bad, Billie Jean, and Thriller. Thriller's song that isn't just the main dance for Halloween, but also the album with the same name, is the best-selling of all times, even till nowadays. Michael Jackson was such a legend that to explain that, I would like to talk about Michael Jackson's unforgettable Super Bowl of 27 halftime show in January 1993. It was a game involving the Dallas Cowboys against the Buffalo Bills, with the score being 52-17 points in favor of the Cowboys. Jackson literally started his halftime performance by having multiple stuntmen dressed like him appearing in all different parts. However, the public couldn't decipher who was the real one. Everyone was just like, he's there! No, he's right here! Wait, no, where is him?
There he is!
Hello, boys.
How's he doing this? All right, Jerry, stop!
He's multiplying. It's happening.
What the?
What?
Huh?
What is there?
What?
There's so many. There's so many.
What the?
That until the real Michael Jackson appeared by catapulting himself to the center of the stage and standing there completely frozen and silent for almost 2 minutes before his longtime guitarist, began the performance. It was such a great moment, and I needed to talk about it. Musical artists and bands on the 20th century of pop music were the Beatles with Come Together, Lucy in the Skies with Diamonds. Okay, I'm terrible at singing, that's the last time. And the one and only We All Live in a Jungle. Whitney Houston, Whitney Houston, I will always love you. I wanna dance with somebody. I have nothing. Looks like I chose songs with a lot of eyes in it. Marvin Gaye, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Looks like I just can't help it. Mercy, Mercy Me, and Got to Give It Up. As well for many other great pop singers, such as the queen of pop herself, Madonna. No relationship with Michael Jackson, just to clarify. Now let's talk about country music. Music genre that began before both rock and pop around the 20s in the US. In my point of view, this music main characteristic is that it sounds western or cowboy-esque, if I get what I mean. And that's thanks to its origins in the South. Ironic, wouldn't you think? Country singers go from Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, and a favorite of mine, Kenny Rogers, especially for the song The Cower on the County. I got obsessed with it when I was younger, and now I'm obsessed with Star Wars. Yeah, that's not music related. Around the 1970s, a new tendency emerged in the United States, one that would gain such popularity that it even became a night lifestyle, such like a subculture, to be more specific. In case you haven't realized, it's disco music. Its name was derived from discotheque, a name referring to a recent dance-oriented nightclubs. In the discotheques, the main music was one that could inspire dancing and happiness for literally everyone. In one point, it even became its own genre. Some of the most iconic and still popular disco songs would be Rasputin by Boney M, September by Earth, Wind and Fire, and as previously mentioned, Staying Alive by Bee Gees. Now, with nothing left to say, here's my teammate and friend Leonardo DiCaprio, Angel Leonardo, to talk about the 90s music to the present day. Enjoy!
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas.
Don't lie to me. I know you like Macarena, but today I'm going to talk to you about the best era of music. The 90s to the present day. I'd like to show you every song from the 90s, every song I like. But the list is quite large, so I will separate them into two main genres, pop and rock. And obviously at the end my favorite artists and their own songs. Rock in the early 90s was amazing. For example, we've got my favorite song from R.E.M., Losing My Religion.
Oh, life is bigger. It's bigger than you, and you are not me. The links that
But not only this band was famous. A year before the 21st century began, Red Hot Chili Peppers dropped Californication.
Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication.
Nirvana was also famous with their song Smells Like Teen Spirit, or what I like to personally call Huele a Puberto. The 90s got us a lot of boy bands, single songs, and a lot of quick, senseless words. Scatman was one of them. You know, the guy that talks like a robot. Even Earth, Wind and Fire created the song from Las Aventuras de Chronicle. Let's groove! And much more even amazing songs like Rhythm of the Night.
This is the rhythm of the night. Oh yeah. The rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm of my life. My life. Oh yeah.
So I will now talk about my years, my songs, and my favorite artists. 7 years from Lucas Graham. This was the first song I ever sang in my piano lessons.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the limits we were.
Attention from Charlie Puth. When I used to have the voice of an angel, I could sing the song perfectly.
I know that dress is karma, perfume regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Ooh, and now I'm all upon you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me.
I also used to hear electronic music. I loved it a lot. And here we have Wake Me Up from Avicii.
All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know.
Pop and love songs like 2002 from Anne Marie.
Where we sang songs with all our childhood friends, and it went like this: say, oops, I got 99 problems singing bye bye bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time.
Hey There Delilah from Plain White T's.
Hey there, Delilah, don't you worry about the distance. I'm right there. If you get lonely, give this song another listen. Close your eyes. Listen to my voice, it's my disguise. I'm by your side. Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, it's what you...
And my favorite ones, Latin rap. Mostly from Cancerbero. This song helped me in too many ways, I have to tell you, and I hope you get to listen to it. The name of this song is Tragedia, Comedia y Ficción.
inspiración, musa dueña de mis buenos sentimientos. La invito a tomarse uno, fumarse un cigarrillo como niños que juegan a ser maduros y como un conjuro, limpiar la rabia de mi pecho con palabras que al rimarlas me hacen sentir satisfecho. Al menos por un ratico, hasta que me despierten esa realidad de la cual soy convicto, como la rutina, como las doctrinas, como tantas cosas que me hacen pensar que estoy en ruinas. Nacer, crecer, reproducirse, morir, pues estar...
So this is it. I couldn't add too many songs because I ran out of time, and I have to tell you I don't have a favorite artist, and if I did, I don't want to talk about any of them because the songs are the things that describe them perfectly. Not a biography or written history. The music is the history itself. So with this I'll finish, and oh, we forgot a type of music.